into a new CEBL season.
It's been amazing, Canada basketball, to put that platform and give guys an out.
The crowds were bigger, the players got better, the quality of the game got better.
You gotta love it, Canadian hoops.
Fasten your seatbelt tonight because we're going to have some high energy and some high flying stuff.
This is the trail. This is the real. It's all that I gotta say. I'm in my zone.
No shortage of emotion, no shortage of intensity as anticipated.
Sliding away. What a block from behind.
You don't just fuel your body, you fuel your drive. We're not here to preach hustle. We're here for the ones who show up. You know who you are. The moms who make mornings feel like magic. The runners lacing up before the scroll. The dreamers writing it down before it's real. And we're here for you. Real fruit, real fuel. Booster Juice. Fuel for what's next.
What keeps me going? Under the heat of the sun or in the heat of the moment. When climbing for even one more second seems like too much. Whether you're reaching for your goal or busy setting new ones, everyone hits their limit, but that limit has a reset. Scientifically formulated to hydrate faster in the moments that matter. Electrolyte, instant hydration.
Welcome back. I am here with Stingers coach Jordan Baker. Coach, you played the Surge on Friday. Calgary came out victorious. What do you change to reverse that outcome?
Yeah, we're going to mix some things up defensively. We're going to try to get our guys into some spots where we can be more successful. But we got to take care of the basketball, got to share the ball, and try to hold them under 90 points tonight.
Calgary has really come on strong from the last time they were here at the Expo Centre. Are you playing against a different Calgary team today?
Certainly. I mean, they're playing great. They're moving the ball. They're being unselfish. They're really defending hard. So it's a great test for us tonight. It should be a playoff-type atmosphere.
Last game against Calgary, you had Tay Donald, Scotty Lindsay, Nick Hordsby combined for 56 points. How critical is it that your veterans show up at this point in the season?
Yeah, I mean, that's why we brought them back. We like what they could do. They're going to have to lead some of these other guys, and hopefully we'll get some contributions up and down the roster. We can only count on those guys to carry the load so much, but yeah, I mean, they're great, and hopefully they play well again tonight.
Thank you so much, Coach. Good luck.
Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Coach Baker. And Mark, you've identified some keys for today's game presented by CDIC. Let's first start with the visiting Calgary Surge.
Keep climbing, Doug. We mentioned this team started 0-10, and they are knocking on playoffs door. Next key is one possession at a time, one game at a time. You can't win 3 straight tonight. You can't look too far ahead down the road. Just have to focus on what's in front of you. And lastly, you have to force turnovers. Edmonton leads the league, or is at the bottom of the league, with 14.7 turnovers per game. On Friday night, Calgary had 27 points off 15 Edmonton turnovers, and that was the difference on Friday.
Now let's take a look at those for the home Stingers. Their keys to the game presented by CDIC.
Home cooking for the rest of the season. 3 games left in the season. They're all at home. You can't ask for a better schedule than that. This team has to play 4 full quarters. We've seen teams come in here to this arena, smash and grab victories, maximum effort at both ends of the floor until the end of target time. And lastly, rebound, rebound, rebound. Edmonton struggles with the offensive rebound. They're quite excellent at defensive rebound, but the battle of the boards tonight is going to be huge for both teams.
Take a look now at the starting lineups for the game here today at the Edmonton EXPO Centre. For the visiting Calgary Surge, they will start with Rugsy Miller-Moore. He did not play on Friday for Calgary. David Joplin, Armani Chaney, Matthew Kamba, former Edmonton Stinger, and Javonte Brown. For the Stingers, they will go with Tay Donald, Emmanuel Bandamel. Nick Hornsby's had an outstanding year since returning from Indonesia. Isaac Jack has become a staple in the starting lineup for the Stingers, as well as Scotty Lindsay. And Mark, you've also outlined players to watch from each team. Let's start with Sincere Carey, the visiting Surge.
Since joining Calgary in July, his role has continued to grow for this team. He had a big game on Friday night, scoring 14 points, adding 2 rebounds and 6 assists. I think he's going to be key tonight for the Surge.
And now for the Stingers, your player to watch, Emmanuel Bandemel.
While his numbers might not jump off the page, Doug, he's been Mr. Consistency for this Stinger team. He has started every single game for Edmonton, and he's doing so again today. He's kind of, I guess, the heartbeat of this team, and I think he's going to be key to a victory this afternoon or tonight, whichever part of the country you're joining us from tonight. I think Mr. Bandemel is going to be key tonight for the Stingers.
Bandemel second on the Stingers in minutes played, just behind Nick Hornsby. He does lead them in three-point percentage, just under 40% on the year. So he has been, as you said, Mark, a very steady influence for this Stingers roster that has, to be honest, it has been a roller coaster. We're here at K-Days. It's fitting in that sense. It has been an absolute roller coaster of a season for Edmonton.
Absolutely, but if you can forget everything that's happened so far in this season. You have 3 games left. You control your own destiny. We can get to tiebreakers later on if you like. However, if you're Edmonton, it's very simple. If you take care of business today, you clinch a playoff spot. If you're Calgary, if you win today, you live to fight one more day. And I think both these teams understand what's at stake. Is it fair to say it's a bit of a nervous energy inside the Hive today?
Yeah, I mean, you and I have done games here for a long time, and it's a very lively, active place to be. Yeah, it's a little subdued in some ways, I'd say, here as we get set for tip-off. And tip-off is presented by Spalding, the official game ball of the Canadian Elite Basketball League. The Edmonton Stingers will wear their 3rd jerseys, their whites, with yellow numbers and blue trim, and the Surge as well, and they're black with gold as they try to continue, as you said, that climb back up the mountain, which seemed, again, at 1-13 seemed absolutely inconceivable. And yet here they are, as we've said a few times already, with an opportunity to stay in the playoff race. They'll still need some work along the way, but they would likely control their own destiny if they were to win today, especially if they win by more than a point. And again, we'll get into tie breaks if need be down the road. Stingers control the opening tip, and we're underway here at the Edmonton EXPO Centre. Tay Donald to Bandemel. Hornsby, 4-3. Gets the Stingers going here early with a triple.
Perfect start for Edmonton, just 17 seconds in. You could tell that was a design play to one of their longest tenured players. He makes no mistake.
Here is Cheney, finds Kamba. Rejoined this roster midway through the season. Kamba pull up just below the elbow when he gets the Surge back within 1. Bandemel pulls up with Kamba in his face, and Emmanuel Bandemel said he is the leading three-point shooter for this Stingers roster, and he gets going early.
Got a lot of air under that one and made no mistake.
Miller Moore, 3 years in a row, member of the All-Canadian team in the CEBL. Looking up against Lindsay is Joplin. As a Jackal, a nice box out on Javonte Brown, and here is Scotty Lindsay. Finds Jack, one step back, looking for help. Finds it with Tay Donald, and there's a push in the back for Armani Cheney. We'll take a look now at the officials for today's game. Crew Chief Cooper Toppings, umpires Neil Donnelly and Rian Knish. This Western Conference game is presented by Cal Tire. Another triple knockdown. Stingers 3 for 3 to start. Scotty Lindsay joins in for 9-2 early lead. Stingers had an early lead on Friday as well. Calgary chipped away at it and really didn't relinquish it from late in the first quarter.
There's nothing better for your confidence when your shots are dropping early, and especially if they're dropping from beyond 3. So good start here for Edmonton, but a nice response here from the Surge.
And that's what you want to do, put the ball on the floor, get to the rim, and Miller Moore does just that. Nick Hornsby turns the corner, and a shot blocked there by Brown. Kamba quickly up the floor. Did not have numbers, he'll hold it up, and now here is Cheney. Works his way in, that one off the side of the glass, and Tay Donald will push it up the floor for Edmonton. Nice little move there with the shake to the left hand for Tay Donald. Lays it in, it's an 11-4 Edmonton lead.
I think Donald was surprised when he saw how much space he had, but he made no mistake with a quick burst to the rim.
Cheney, kick out. Got 3 short for Joplin. kept alive. It ends up in the hands of Tay Donald. He's 1 on 3 and he'll slow it down. Donald to his right, into the trees, has to kick it back out. Here's Hornsby with 12 on the shot clock. Vandemel, Cheney on him. A little bit off balance, but he's going to draw the foul. It's going to go on Javonte Brown.
Really nice patience there by Vandemel. Goes almost all the way around the court, forced to his left hand, and doesn't get the bucket to drop. It gets the next best thing, and that's a trip to the line for 2.
Take a look here at the work from Vandemel. Again, just a little bit off balance, not a ton of contact, but Brown will pick up his first, team's second. Vandemel at the free throw line, 67% on the year. And makes both. Brown tried to influence that. You can knock it off the rim, but you can't go through the rim. So, as they did Friday, Stingers with a nice early lead. Cheney guarded close by Vandemel, finds Miller Moore. Screen coming from Brown. Miller Moore at the free throw line up against Jack. He's going to draw the foul on Isaac Jack. Rexy Miller Moore, Toronto native, played at Grand Canyon.
Still though, Doug, 3 minutes into this one, a really nice start for Edmonton, up by 9 points. And I feel like they have confidence maybe we haven't seen on home floor quite some time.
Kamba, Vandemel on him. Works through the screen of Brown. Jack picks him up. Deflected away momentarily, but back into the hands, and that's a shot clock violation. Lively feet, lively hands by the Edmonton Stingers defensively.
And we heard Jordan Baker tell Sarah pregame they're trying to hold them to under 90 points, and it's plays like that that are going to go a long way. Still a long way to go till the fourth quarter, but I think if you're Jordan Baker, you have to be pleased with what you've seen defensively from your team so far.
Jack to Donald, turns the corner quickly. Tay Donald, hard left hand, and a timeout called by Calgary. 15-4, the Stingers with an early edge here from Edmonton. 6:28 to go in the first quarter. You're watching CEBL Basketball live on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL Plus.
Welcome back to the Edmonton EXPO Centre. Stingers up 15-4 over the Calgary Surge. And in that timeout there, Calgary's coach just telling his players, you need to be more physical. Stop letting the Stingers go where they want to go without feeling your presence.
Similar to what we saw, the Stingers, this is what we've seen from the Stingers team all year. They'll have these runs where they can put themselves in a great spot. Hey, the game is early. There's a lot of time left. But they cannot find ways to sustain it or punch back when other teams do just that themselves.
Absolutely, and that was one of the keys to the game I had, was to play at 4 full quarters, and I think that timeout was perfectly executed by Calgary. We'll see what Edmonton does coming out, holding on to this lead, as it's been clearly Edmonton is forcing Calgary to play their game, as we have a couple turnovers in front, but it's been all Stingers so far in this one.
Marlon Johnson bats that one off the arms of Vandemel, out of bounds. Of course, Marlon Johnson, 2 years with the Stingers, won a championship with them back in 2021. Kamba, also part of that 2021 victorious Stingers team. This is the jumper. Hornsby on the run. Gets a shot off. It will not fall, and he will head to the line. You can follow at CEB League on all social platforms to stay up to date on stats, storylines, and more for all 10 teams in Canada's Pro Basketball League.
As was just announced in-house that Nick Hornsby becomes franchise leader in rebounds. He's been a huge part of the Stinger team since day one.
It's not actually just the franchise leader, it is the league leader. And it is not just rebounds that that Nick Hornsby, also a great player, Scotty Lindsay, leads in. Nick Hornsby is currently leading the Stingers in all of these categories. Most points per game, rebounds, of course, averaging nearly 8, but also assists, steals, plus field goal and free throw percentage. He does it all.
He has been as good as we have seen him in Edmonton since returning from Indonesia. Find there is cutting Scotty Lindsay right through the middle of the lane. Tough finish for the Stinger vet. Shady kicks it out. Kamba double clutches, and he kicks it out himself. Finds Miller Moore. Looks against Scotty Lindsay, a little bit off balance. Runner in and out, and foul call. Looks like it's going to go against Edmonton. That will be on Tay Donald. Cal Tire, pro partner and tire expert of the CEBL. Shop top tire brands and have peace of mind with Cal Tire's price match guaranteed. You can shop and book at caltire.com.
There's been a lot of things going well for the Stingers so far, Doug, but I think their shot selection and just the way they've been able to play such stingy defense midway through this first quarter, you couldn't have asked for a better start for the Stingers.
Another turnover there for Calgary. Addie Patterson can't control that inbound, and it is now again Edmonton basketball. Hornsby to the baseline, working against Miller Moore to his left. A little bit off balance, tries to roll it home. And Miller Moore with the defensive board, and he's up the floor. Loses the handle, thought he got fouled. Zips it over to Sincere Carey. Looks right into Isaac Jack. And Hornsby steps up a little bit late on Javonte Brown, and the foul will go on Nick Hornsby, his first, team's third.
Well, the Stingers had a missed opportunity at the other end of the floor, and I think that's maybe the first shot of the game that you don't love if you're the Stingers, but so far, you know, if you have a heat map in front of you, it's been red hot for Edmonton.
Stingers right now 75% from the field. They're 6 of 8, 3 of 3 from the three-point line. Honest Arms into the game for the first time. Finds Brown underneath, who puts 2 more on the board for the Surge. Donald. Nice look inside to Isaac Jack. Misses the first with the left hand. Collects his home board and puts it home. Patterson looks his way, hands it off. Arms 3, and he is bumped. That'll be the second on Tay Donald.
So after a pretty quick start, rather choppy over the last 2 minutes or so, as each team with 3 fouls with 4:06 remaining in the first, but really nice pace for Edmonton if you're Calgary. Hitting this shot and getting a couple stops would be a good way to get yourselves back into this one.
Donald, Jack, and Lindsay sub out for Edmonton. Abdul Muhammad, Trey King, as well as Kendrick Ray in his second game with the Stingers, his first here in Edmonton. He was just signed this week, native of Middletown, New York, played at Kennesaw State. And he has been, he needs one of those maps where you like scratch off all the places you visited around the world. He has played pro in Mexico, Turkey, Italy, New Zealand, France, Czechia, and now here in Canada. caused the foul. Or sorry, that's on Marlon Johnson, I should say.
Really good job there by Calgary. They weren't letting anyone in the paint. Of course, they do take the foul, but we're going to let anything come easy for Edmonton on that possession.
Caleb Swanton-Roger into the game for Calgary. David Joplin as well will check in for Marlon Johnson Jr. It's Calgary just trying to find a bit of rhythm offensively here right now. 3 of 9 from the field. Vandemel. Hornsby, quick crossover. Swanton-Roger does a nice job though to recover defensively to affect that layup from Nick Hornsby. Ball out of bounds and it will go off a Calgary foot. It will be Edmonton basketball.
Yeah, Swanton-Roger using every single inch of that frame, and it was noticeable. I think Hornsby was a little surprised when he just kept seeing limbs coming at him.
7-footer Calgary native Swanton-Roger. His first pro experience here with the Surge. Has been playing at home after finishing his career at Old Dominion. Hornsby spins, loses it, and tries to roll it downhill. Quickly up ahead, Patterson with the flush. And Nick Hornsby down on the floor.
You don't love to see that if you're the Stingers. A little slow to get up. Gets up under his own power.
Not sure if he might have, there was a little, I mean, a bit of traffic in our view, but not sure if he might have landed almost on the ball, maybe knocked the wind out of himself. I mean, it would take a lot, I think, for Nick Hornsby to check himself out of the game. King loses it out of bounds. And it will be Calgary basketball as play gets a little sloppy here the last couple minutes.
Yeah, really good first 6 minutes from the Stingers. It's kind of slowed up a little bit.
And Joplin able to rattle that one home. Lead cut to 10. Ray zips it over to the corner. Vandemel, 3, in and out. A rebound. Muhammad can't get his hands on it. Carey does. Sincere Carey up the floor. Finally, they did have to make the call as Vandemel gets the hand on the back. Surprised, to be honest, it wasn't called a little bit earlier.
He's dragging him for a few meters there. Our 2 players to watch going head to head.
And that will send Sincere Carey to the line, as that is 15th foul on the Stingers here in this opening quarter. Carey, in his 9 games with Calgary, has yet to miss a free throw. And do it again. Mark knows as well how good I am at that. Not good at much.
Jinx never fails.
Sincere Carey. Solon, Ohio, played at Kent State. Finish up his career, also played at Duquesne before that. A little bit of light pressure, 1-2-2 shown by the Surge. Here is Ray. Haven't been able to break that pressure. Vandemel guarded by Carey, finds Hornsby. Vandemel gets it back. Step back 3, in and out. And the Stingers starting to go a little bit east-west more than north-south right now.
Yeah, they've gotten a little bit cold over the last couple of minutes. This is a big possession here for Calgary, looking to cut that deficit even smaller.
Started 6 of 7. They're one of their last 5 are the Stingers. Carey, step back 3, and that one goes for Sincere Carey. And quickly now, it's just a 6-point Edmonton lead. Gray to Hornsby. Turns it over. And they're going to say off of Joplin. And now they're going to correct it. It's going to be Calgary basketball.
We always see players that are pretty animated when calling those, but every Calgary player on the floor was quick to point that out. So here comes the Surge with 1:30 to go. Down by 6. Nice steal.
Turnover. Trey King puts it down. Sincere Carey.
And he gave him the stare down after.
Well, and Jordan Baker's upset because he thinks that Sincere Carey went underneath. We'll take a look at it. You'll see Carey come underneath just with that hand. I think it looked worse initially than it did when you see the replay. So the official on the play, Ray Kanish, had a far better look than we did. That's what Jordan Baker was a little bit hot about, I think. So with the technical, Calgary will inbound from their own baseline.
Coach Baker still having an animated conversation.
I can hear a little bit of that conversation, really just concerned about what happens if King lands and hurts himself, what then?
Yeah, we've seen that over the last few years where they're really careful with that kind of play, with a defender coming downhill, can't go underneath them. If you're making that kind of contact, they just really want to protect the player. So that's what Jordan Baker was concerned about. I think we saw not a ton of contact. Ray, kick out corner, Muhammad, three, knocks it down, and Abdul Muhammad has not played big minutes for this Stingers squad, but he has over the last month started to chip in a little more offensively when he is on the floor. Ball tipped away, another steal for King. Three will go, and a foul. This is going to go on Patterson initially. Now we've got Patterson and Hornsby. Trey King getting the crowd fired up.
Well, Doug, it doesn't matter if it's on the hard court, the gridiron, or the ice. The Battle of Alberta tempers are always going to flare.
We'll see what goes on here. I think the first foul was going to be on Patterson as he and Hornsby came head-to-head. It didn't look initially like Hornsby got one. We'll see if he does, as the officials are going to sort this out with under 33 to go here in this opening quarter. We'll take a look at the initial steal, and the foul is behind the play, so it's right there. It's that shove, and then there's the stare down from Patterson. Oh, the headbutt, that's what it was. So the headbutt from Patterson after, that's the foul call initially, personal foul. Right there, the shot from Patterson. So we'll see what the officials end up calling here. So the three goes, yep, personal foul on Patterson. That would put Edmonton in the bonus, as Calgary would be in the penalty.
The officials having a long conversation, just making sure, obviously they get it right, but just making sure they have as much details as they possibly can. We have the benefit of a monitor right in front of us, so we get the replay, but...
So there's going to be at least one to Patterson for sure on the initial shot on Hornsby. We'll see if there's a second one, and then if there's maybe one as well on Nick Hornsby or Abdul Muhammad, who came in as well.
You know, you never want to see stuff like that happen, but I did chuckle watching the official hold on to Nick Hornsby for dear life.
Yeah.
Some big bodies out on the floor. Still having a conversation.
Jordan Baker himself came out on the floor. Yeah. You got to be careful there too. I know what he was trying to do.
Of course, yep.
He was just trying to get Hornsby. Like, he knows how important Nick Hornsby. He was just trying to get him away.
I don't think I've seen the delay quite. Obviously, we're not long here, but they're making sure they're getting everything right. Calgary's looking like they're ready to go.
Well, head coach Dave DeViro.
So, Addie Patterson has been ejected for Calgary. Nick Hornsby receives a technical foul, but is not ejected. I know Doug's trying to figure out what happened. So it looks like Patterson ejected for Calgary,
yeah, so
tech for Hornsby.
Yeah, there's an initial technical on Patterson. I think that was the initial call. Then a technical on Hornsby, and then Patterson has been ejected. So that is the combination of what has gone on here.
We'll take another look at kind of the sequence of events.
There you see Hornsby on Patterson. There's the steal, and then you can see Patterson at the top of your screen. He'll come in late again. And it's that right there that draws the initial technical. And then it's this that will draw the ejection. And then Hornsby gets a technical for, I'm assuming, having said something, kind of being in the middle of that altercation.
Abdul Muhammad also getting a technical foul.
Yeah, so we have 3 technicals and 1 ejection, just to clear everything up.
So there's going to be some stop and starts.
Yes. So the one set of technicals will cancel themselves out. Sincere carry will, we can argument say, take the Abdul Muhammad free throw for his technical. And now Edmonton should be shooting. This should be 2, I believe.
Yeah, that's what the official just confirmed.
So it is 2, and then Edmonton will get the ball back based on the initial Patterson technical, I believe. So there we go. Matty Patterson, Mississauga native. His first pro experience as well this year with the Surge. He is out of the game. He's been averaging 23 minutes a game for the Surge, scoring at 11 a game. So certainly a loss for the Surge. And now, the 14-point lead, Edmonton will get the ball back and we'll get back playing some basketball.
Yes, 32.8 seconds remaining. What's been a spicy last couple of minutes. Started kind of with the Trey King technical foul as well.
Ray misses on the 3. Now Carey. A second differential shot clock and game clocks. The Surge can hold for the final shot if they wish. And another turnover, but Carey, good job to step in and get it back. Abdullah done. That's going to be an offensive foul on Olu Adeladun. And the Spears now with an opportunity for a look here with 6 seconds to go in this opening quarter. So Isaac Jack back into the game. Muhammad checks out. And Ray quickly get the ball up the floor. Ray finds Jack, puts it up, off the window, won't go. Still get a decent look out of it, but they will head to the quarter break with a 14-point lead. It was an adventure to get there, but 31-17 after the opening quarter. Thanks for tuning in here on a Sunday from Edmonton. You're watching CEBL Basketball live on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL Plus.
When Crystal Glass introduced our residential window line this past year, it was essential to manufacture them locally.
Crystal Glass has always been a proudly Canadian company.
We employ Canadians, we serve Canadians, and we are Canadians. So you know our windows are designed and built for our climate.
And since we've been the clear choice for glass for over 75 years, you can trust our quality and service.
Visit one of our over 50 locations across Western Canada or at crystalglass.ca. Financing is now available.
Let's bring it on. It's game time. It's showtime. Oh, and it goes. Nick Hornsby. Here's Oakland for the win.
You gotta love a Canadian boost.
Two hands. Me. Oh, what a block from behind.
Calgary Surge. And Jason, it was a slow start to the season for your team, but they're really turning it around resiliency. You must like to see that.
Yeah, look, this is where your mettle is tested, right? And I couldn't be more proud of our entire staff, our interim head coach, Dave DeViro. He's done an amazing job, but really our players. Our players have known nothing but winning and success since we launched this team 3.5 years ago. To see them battle through after an 0-10 start, to be in a position to control their own destiny is very heartening.
You've made the drive here to Edmonton with your family. Obviously, Expo Centre quite full. We have seen some Surge fans here as well. Can you talk about the growth that you've seen in basketball in Alberta?
Yeah, this is a responsibility I think that we feel collectively with the Stingers organization. We chose to go to Red Deer. We chose to go to Lethbridge. And given that this is an 8-year franchise, we just wanted to do our part to be able to grow basketball throughout this province, and now that is extended throughout the country with our investments abroad as well. So we couldn't be more heartened with the response from our fan base, and just to see the growth of one of Canada's most popular sports. It comes with responsibility, but it's all these fans, it's all the grassroots basketball that makes it all possible.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Jason, and good luck today.
Thank you.
Back to you.
Thanks, Sarah. Appreciate the interview with Jason as well. And I mean, ownership groups, and I mean, this league started with league-owned teams. You see it, the private the owners, investors step in, and they're so important to what goes on with the CEBL and basketball in this country. And as he said, trying to grow the game in the province and across the country. And nice to have the rivalry and two teams in Alberta's biggest cities.
Yeah, I've seen it firsthand. You just see more Stingers gear when you're walking around in public. And today, there's been a lot of Calgary fans that have made the drive up north. Obviously, it's a beautiful weekend. It's a busy weekend in the city of Edmonton, but it's very cool to see this league continue to grow in just its 8th year and seeing just the strength that it has.
Get to some of the numbers from the opening quarter momentarily. Here is Scotty Lindsay. Deladoon on him. Lindsay off balance, but a nice finish by Scotty Lindsay. Mark, what do you see from the opening quarter numbers?
Calgary turning the ball over 8 times, leading to 9 Edmonton points is one that jumps out. While Edmonton started red hot from 3, they still finished that first quarter 5 for 8. If you're shooting 62% from 3, I think every single coach on the planet would take those numbers. And that's really it. Calgary only just 4 attempts from 3. Rebounds still relatively close, but it's the turnovers that jumps out to me.
The Stingers doing a nice job spreading the scoring around. That's been a key for them all season long. Everyone who has played so far, Adong McQuain in the game now as well for Edmonton. But in that first quarter, only Ray, the one player to not score in the opening 10 minutes. Swanton Roger, nice layup on the cut and the find from Arms.
In a limited time, I really like what I've seen from Swanton Rogers, excuse me. Big player out there, playing with the face mask on, but still playing fearless out there. Great plays on both ends of the floor.
Kendrick Ray has the ball deflected out of bounds. Yeah, Swanton Rogers similar to Isaac Jack. We've seen Isaac Jack's responsibility level grow as the season has gone on. They eased him in. His first pro experience, he's been eased in, has now become a really key member of this Stingers roster, and Swanton Roger in a similar situation. Foul will go on Muhammad, and his sincere carry hit the deck.
Looks like cooler heads have prevailed after a bit of a malfunction at the junction late in that first quarter. We're back to basketball.
It's going to go on Kendrick Ray. Foul on Carey. 3 team fouls now on Edmonton, 1 on Calgary here in the opening minute and a half of the second quarter. Carey screen from Swanton Roger. Picked up again by Ray. Carey. Ray ends up on the floor, and a foul call coming against Edmonton, and we'll see who this one goes on. It's going to go as well on Muhammad. So for Muhammad, that is his 3rd foul already here in this basketball game. New Era is the exclusive game uniform partner of the CEBL and all 10 of its teams from coast to coast. Pick up your official replica jerseys now by visiting CEBL.ca. And Mark just mentioned that. You see lots of Stingers gear always at games here, and as you said, a lot around town too, and certainly seeing some Surge memorabilia in the crowd today as well. The first one is missed.
Well, I think both fan bases know what is potentially at stake for this game. Calgary fighting for their playoff lives, and Edmonton looking to punch their ticket to the postseason.
Adonis Arms goes 1 for 2. He's a 68% free throw shooter, and Jack will check back in. Dong McCoy in for Edmonton. Muhammad remains on the floor with the 3 fouls. Again, that 1-2-2 pressure shown here by Calgary, and a turnover as Bandamel launches that one a little out of the reach of Ray. Carey to his left, swings it back. Arms on the floor, a little bit off balance, and a foul called there on Bandamel. And quickly the Stingers are in the penalty already. I thought he might have been going down a bit, lost his balance. That one will go on Bandamel. That's his second.
Yeah, Doug, just under 2 minutes into this quarter, already 5 fouls for the Stingers.
Arms back at the line. This is the first again. Arms 2 of 6 right now from the free throw line. It's at 2 of 7. Rebound Muhammad. Ray. As mentioned, signed this week. Kai Ashton Langford was injured and then released by the Stingers. Lindsay finds Bandamel. Low block guarded by Carey. Up and under, nice move there, and then the finish with the left hand for Emmanuel Bandamel.
Nice patience in a really tight spot. Switched hands a couple times, but gets the nice finish.
Joplin, that one off the mark, but nice job by Arms to come in and collect the offensive rebound, but it will be deflected out of bounds. Matthew Kamba and Rugsy Miller-Moore about to check back in for the Surge.
If you're Calgary, you're still finding a way to hang around after letting Edmonton get out to a big lead in that first quarter, but some big possessions here for the Surge.
Kamba, quick look at a 3. That one off the mark. Deflected out of bounds off of Swanton Roger as the 2 young posts go at each other, Jack and Swanton Roger.
Right in front of the Calgary bench.
Ray up top, guarded by Carey. It's Bandamel. Right wing inside to Jack. Ray with 5 on the shot clock. Kendrick Ray pull up inside the elbow. Does not go. And we have a foul called on Swanton Roger. So that will be on the floor, so it will remain Edmonton basketball, and they'll reset the shot clock to 14.
Not the best pace here for either team early on in the second quarter.
And quickly another foul call. This one will go on David Joplin.
2 fouls in about 15 seconds real time.
Bandamel finds the release valve in Jack. Lindsay, Kamba on him. Lindsay will draw the foul, going to the rim. And Mark, that's one thing we have seen throughout the season. Mentioned in the first quarter, when the Stingers are going north-south, they're a more effective team. They're a better shooting team. We saw a little more east-west as that quarter went on. Yep. Now back to trying to get to the rim.
Yeah, it seems like, you know, coming out of quarters, coming out of timeouts, the Stingers are usually fired right out of a cannon. And maybe it wasn't the case in the second quarter today, but that last possession is a really good example of, you mentioned it, that playing north-south, that is their game. When they are winning ball games, when they're on their win streak earlier on this season, that's what they were doing so well, is not really easing into the game, just kind of taking over and dictating action. And that's a great example of what Scotty Lindsay just did.
You can call me Captain Obvious, but I mean, in 6 of Edmonton's 8 victories, they've won the battle in the paint. Overall, in their 8 wins, 51-38, they've outscored the opponent. So when they get inside, they are an effective team. And right now, leading in points in the paint, 14-10 in this one. Miller-Moore, that 3 off the mark. Rebound, Calgary. Joplin will swing it back out to Miller-Moore. Screen coming. Miller Moore to the free throw line. He's got Isaac Jack on him. Spins inside, kicks it out. Shot clock winding down. That one will go out of bounds off of Joplin's missed three. Some extended minutes here for Abdul Muhammad. Not a great look there at all. And Muhammad will pick up his fourth. Two things there. Either Ray's got to come back and shorten that pass, or Muhammad's got to get help elsewhere. That was a disaster from the moment they were thinking about it.
Is it fair to say that Kendrick Ray is still trying to figure out how to play with his teammates? He is the newest Stinger and still trying to get his feet wet with this team late in the season, which is really hard to do.
I would 100% agree with you, and it's not an easy position to jump in on as a point guard, but you're also taught at a pretty young age, shorten the pass, come help out the inbounder. One move back to him. Nonetheless, turnover and an opportunity at the line. First one missed. Joplin hits the second. He's a 69% free throw shooter for a Calgary team on the season that's 7th in the league, 73%. Here is Ray. Kicks it out. Vanderbilt thought about the three, zips it over, nearly over the head of Lindsay. He pulls it down. Hornsby back in the game for Edmonton. Cross court finds Ray. Three, good for Kendrick Ray. And going downhill on the feed there was David Joplin.
Nice response here from the Surge, down by 16 points. And to keep this close as we approach halftime.
Lindsay has his shot blocked, and now Calgary on the floor. Miller Moore picked up by Ray. That'll be a foul. They're going to go offensive route on Rugsy Miller Moore.
So that is now Calgary their 5th foul of the second quarter. Both teams in the bonus. We're not even at the midway point.
Offensive foul, of course, so that will not put the Stingers on the line, but it will be their basketball.
Going to be keeping an eye on Ray after he just took that offensive foul there. He asked for a sub right away.
And another foul. This one's going to go on Joplin, and that one will send the Stingers to the line. As Adon McCoy will check back into the game. Isaac Jack will take a seat. And Nick Hornsby at the free throw line. Sarah mentioned earlier all the categories in which he leads. Free throws, another one, just shy of 80%. Stingers 8th in the league, 72%. They led the league a season ago, just under 80% from the line. Hornsby misses the first. You can follow at CEB League on all social platforms to stay up to date on stats, storylines, and more for all 10 teams in Canada's Pro Basketball League. 17-point lead right now for Edmonton. Brown. A little bit of miscommunication. Miller Moore thought he was going to go down the three-point line. Instead, ball ends up out of bounds, and a timeout called by Dave DeVera with 5:09 to go. We're going to step out. It's a 17-point Stinger lead. You're watching CEBL Basketball live on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL Plus.
The CDIC was established by the Government of Canada to protect deposits in case of bank failure. Coverage is free and automatic when you bank with a member institution.
Whoa. Thank you. That's my job. So you were saying...
Protecting your deposits, that's what we do.
The CEBL, Canada's Pro Basketball League, and redtag.ca brings Canadian basketball fans a chance to save up to $300 off on vacation bookings all season long with promo code CEBLFans. I wonder how our mascots would spend their time on vacation. Book today with Red Tag and save $300.
Redtag.ca.
Welcome back inside the Edmonton EXPO Centre, where the Stingers hold a 40-23 lead over the Calgary Surge with 5:09 to go here in the second quarter. Doug McLean along with Mark Peugeot and Sarah Ryan. For Edmonton, they have seemed to find a bit more of a steady run here. A bit of a blip in the first quarter, but they found it. Now, again, can they continue that here later in the second quarter? That's the key.
Yeah, both teams I found have ratcheted up their defensive presence midway through this second quarter, but we see attempts like we just saw there from Donald and the nice dish back out to Bandamel. This is the pace that the Stingers want to play at, right? You mentioned it last possession. None of this east-west stuff, with focus on north to south.
Stingers getting into the paint. Bandamel trying to get to the rim, draws a foul. Dave DeVero very frustrated on the Calgary bench right now. Surge were the beneficiaries of similar calls in the first part of this quarter, and now it's flipped the other way in favor of Edmonton. Yeah, I can understand his frustration.
And kudos to these officials. I think they're letting both head coaches speak their piece. We haven't had any warnings handed out yet. That's the thing, Doug. You see it at every single level, whether it is high school, Canada West here in Edmonton. I think you do kind of see these ebbs and flows throughout the game, and we'll see what happens. There's been no shortage of fouls called in quarter number 2.
But I will say this game is a foul now called on Edmonton. I will say it has been a very, it's called grabby game.
Yes, it has.
And look, some officials will let that stuff go a little bit, but I think they're starting to say, look, like we've seen it go to a level that we've got to start to reel it back in, and it has gone both ways. So as much as we sit right by the Calgary bench, and Coach DeVero is certainly frustrated, it's been relatively even here in this quarter.
No, absolutely, and I think all you ask for as a fan and a broadcast player, you just want consistency. And I think we're seeing a lot more consistencies. You're right, Doug, they are calling it both ways.
Carey finds Brown. Nice job stepping in by Scotty Lindsay, who got in front of the baseline cutting Matthew Kamba. Hornsby has to hold up, picks it back out. Bandamel, 3 is good. Emmanuel Bandamel. It's his second 3 of the game.
Largest lead of the night opens up at 20 for the Stingers.
And they are going to get McCoy with the grab. And that will send Brown to the line. Dante Brown, just a 47% free throw shoot, the Toronto native. Played with the Surge a year ago, averaged just under 7 points a game. 4.6 rebounds a game. Spent this past season in Spain. She's got some friends over there that have had a very celebratory week. Yeah. Rifles that second free throw home. Some full court man pressure shown here by the Surge. Ray. Across the timeline now, here's Scotty Lindsay. Ray with the screen from McCoy. Gets doubled. Maintains control. 5 on the shot clock. He's got to get something going. Ray spins back, going up against Kamba. He's not going to get the shot off. Kamba defensively able to basically eliminate Kendrick Ray inside the free throw line.
Really good job there by Kamba to not foul, but to keep his patience and stick with them. Of course, we talked about how many fouls there have been. Would have been really easy for him to reach in there. But good patience shown by the vet.
Brown, lob inside. Scotty Lindsay says, nope, we're going back the other way. Here's Bandamel. Finds Hornsby. Hornsby tried to, oh, there he goes and finds McCoy. You could tell he knew he was there. He's just trying to find the moment. And the the Stingers assist leader at 6.5 a game gets another one there with McCoy.
Yeah, we've talked about the evolution of Hornsby's game, and you can really do it at every single facet of the floor, but there have been a couple assists tonight that have been highlight reel worthy, basically just throwing a seed in a tough spot right to a teammate.
Foul's going to go on McCoy, beneficiary of that last one from Hornsby, who has always been that player that was not going to blow the doors off in terms of individual numbers, but his numbers were all elevated across each of those key categories. And this year, leading them in scoring, just under 8 rebounds a game, 6.5 assists a game, as I said. Since returning 4 double-doubles and 2 triple-doubles. So it has been an outstanding season for Nick Hornsby, and I said on X the other day, you can start getting the Ring of Honor banner ready to go whenever he decides that his Stinger career is over. There's going to be one going up for Nick Hornsby.
You know who Hornsby actually reminds you of? It's his head coach, Jordan Baker.
A little bit. That's a good point.
Really he'll outwork you, he'll get the rebound, he'll get the assist, does not need to be the leading scorer, but has that certainly in his toolbox if it's required.
Pass behind Isaac Jack, and the Surge get up the floor, and that will force the foul on Trey King III, who's back into the game. With 2:45 to go. Big stretch here late in this second quarter. Opportunity for the Surge. Can they chip into this lead enough to feel pretty good at halftime heading into the second? And for the Stingers, can they maintain a similar lead advantage heading into the break as Mason Boursier checks in for Jordan Baker for the first time in this game? Miller Moore knocks down the first, 69% at the line on the year.
And if you're Calgary, to your point, Doug, you're likely not going to tie this game heading into half. If you can get it to 15, if you can maybe get it to 10, that gives you a little bit more jolt heading into the third quarter. So this is a very key 2:45, and those 2 free throws are massive for Calgary.
Miller Moore rattles both home, and then some pressure shown here by the Surge. Lindsay brings it up for Edmonton. King. Jack finds Ray, gets the screen from Jack. Pull-up jumper for Kendrick Ray off the mark. Rebound nearly for Isaac Jack. But instead it's going to be a foul, and I think this one is going to go on David Joplin. Nope, I'm wrong. It's going to go instead on Caleb Swanton-Roger. And that will send Isaac Jack to the line. 58% shooter.
Big on big crime. It's 2 rather large individuals.
Jack misses the first. And he makes the second. Sincere Carey will bring it up, picked up by Kendrick Ray. Carey to his left, goes right at Jack. And a foul call on Isaac Jack.
I really like that take there by Carey. Went right at Jack, and Isaac had nowhere to go, was backtracking. It's a good heads-up play there from Sincere Carey.
Timeout called by Jordan Baker with 2:15 to go and a 17-point lead for Edmonton. So to your point earlier, still some time for Calgary to chip into this deficit heading into halftime and try to build a little bit of momentum into the second half.
Yeah, that's just it. You're likely, as I said, likely not going to be tied heading into half. However, 15 points is a lot better than 20. 10 is a lot better than 15. So chip it away, take a possession at a time. You're going to likely get some opportunities at the foul line as well. But this kind of represents what Calgary's done all season. Down but never out. And this is a really big 2:15 ahead for the visiting Surge.
Coming up at the half, CEBL feature on Stingers president, general manager, and head coach Jordan Baker, who's the architect of Edmonton basketball. Sarah will interview Calgary Surge head coach Dave DeViro. We'll look at the first half stats and revisit Mark's players to watch coming up at the half in a little over 2 minutes and 15 seconds of playing time. And this in from Patrick Erickson, who of course has joined us here on the broadcast, but is also part of the scoring crew when not doing broadcast with us. 19 14 fouls so far in this second quarter and counting, still with 2:15 to go.
When you said 19, I'm like, oh, that's a lot for a half.
Yes.
And then you finished that thought and said in the first.
Players a lot of pressure on when the Stingers are trying to inbound the ball, how to break that.
Stingers had decent success against that press. We've seen a little bit of man pressure, a little bit of 1-2, 2, 3/4 zone pressure too. One turnover earlier committed by the Stingers against that pressure. Sincere Carey, 2 for 3 at the line, now 3 of 4. Here is that zone pressure from the Surge. Kendrick Ray will step back and reset things with 15 on the shot clock. Bounces it off the foot of Swanton Roger. And so there will be a reset to 14 on the shot clock and Edmonton basketball.
You know, I've talked about how important the stretch is for Calgary, but on the flip side, Doug, if you're Edmonton, you obviously want to stretch this lead as big as you possibly can, knowing that part of the punt you're going to get a surge from Calgary to start that third quarter. The bigger the lead, the more they have to climb. So not just a key for Calgary here, but really big on both sides of the ball for the Stingers.
Turnovers have been an issue both ways. 12 committed by the Surge, 10 by Edmonton. And there's Mason Boursier. Banged up a bit this year, hasn't seen huge minutes, but that's nice when he can come in and chip in offense like that off the bench.
How many teams would love to have a guy like Boursier do that coming off the bench in a limited role? Very valuable player for the Stingers team.
Boursier playing just under 11 minutes a game. Carey, nice look inside of Swanton Roger, who's able to lay it home. Great there, great find for Sincere Carey, averaging 4.2 assists. He's been a big part of this resurgence for Calgary in the second half of the season. Lindsay. Trey King for 3. That one off the mark, but he is fouled by Joplin.
Like Joplin kind of got in that landing area for King.
That is number 4 on David Joplin, who plays 26 minutes for the Surge, so he will come out of the game.
That's big, because they're also down a man earlier from the ejection.
So Adonis Arms in for him, as King third misses the first. Second of 3. And he makes the third. So 73% shooter is Trey King and knocks down 2 of them. Lexington, Kentucky native. Here is Miller Moore, baseline. Kick out Kamba. 3 goes in and out. Rebound by King. Trey King. Against Miller Moore. Turns it over. Arms up the floor. 2-on-1. Carey. Double clutches. Good job defensively by Kendrick Ray to get a hand on that shot. Now Boursier. Slow things up to King. Lindsay. Extra pass. Corner. Ray. To step out now, pulls up for 3. That one in and out. Swanton Roger, and then Miller Moore up ahead to Arms for the lay-in. Now timeout called by Jordan Baker with 28.2 to go. So far, I mean, still a possession to go for Edmonton. Calgary's done their job in terms of not allowing the lead to extend, and 15, still a significant lead for Edmonton, but if you're Calgary, it feels a little better than where you were a few minutes ago.
Absolutely. Keep it away. I think if you're Calgary, you can get a big defensive stop on end, still time to rush down the floor and score. I think if you're Coach Baker, it's the same thing, saying let's take as much time on this possession as we possibly can. Let's make sure they don't get the ball back. Whether we hit our shot, take as much time down and grab the rebound, just making sure both teams want to be the specifics heading into halftime. And 1, maybe 2 possessions to go.
We talked earlier about how well defensively the Surge have been playing in this run of 6 wins in 7 games, giving up just 84 points a game in those 6 wins. But they've been shooting the ball extremely well too. In 4 of those games in that 7-game run, they've been over 50% from the field. So they've been shooting the ball extremely well. And as well also from the 3-point line, shooting the ball very efficiently. So it has been, they've been finding ways at both ends to get themselves back to where they are right now, within striking distance of a playoff spot.
Well, they know it's at stake. We've already said it a few times on the broadcast, and I'm sure it's been mentioned a ton all week long, saying we can't get ahead of ourselves, but at the same time, we're going to need to get some stops on one end and some scores on the other.
Stingers shooting very well tonight. They're 55% from the field. Calgary 41% to this point. With a 3.5-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. McCoy in for Edmonton finds Ray. Ray, look inside. McCoy is held by Kamba, so that is going to send Adon McCoy to the free throw line. 6 minutes a game for his hometown Edmonton Stingers. Spent this past season, did McCoy, playing in Finland, in Helsinki. Missed the first. Chance to redeem himself here. And can't get that one to fall. Kamba quickly up the floor to Carey. Under 4 to go. Carey, corner 3, well short. And that is where the first half will end. 50-35. The Edmonton Stingers up on the Calgary Surge. A bit of an offensive explosion for the Stingers in the opening 20 minutes.
Back and forth in that second quarter we go. I think if you're Edmonton, you're pretty pleased with where you're at, leading by 15. At the same time, if you're the Surge, you know the work that needs to be done. Can't undo what's already happened in the first 2 quarters and getting into some foul trouble and with the ejection as well, but Calgary knows the task at hand heading into the second half.
It's a 15-point lead for the Stingers, looking for 1 win to put themselves into the playoffs. We're going to step out, get you set for halftime. No, we're going to first. You got Nick Hornsby right in front of me. Sarah, you got Nick.
Thank you so much. That's right, I do have Nick. Nick, you have just passed Khalif Young in this first quarter, all-time rebounds leader in the CEBL. How does it feel to keep knocking down these milestones?
It's great. I want to thank God and my family for allowing me to do this, and my teammates. Being here for 4 years, it's been a lot of fun, and just continue to work hard and compete every game.
Can you talk to me a little bit about, what stands out to me today? 8 points, 2 rebounds, but 5 assists. You've been really finding your teammates. Talk to me about those looks inside.
Yeah, I like to get everybody going. It's not always going to be your night. We have a lot of great shooters, a lot of great players, a lot of great people. So I love passing the ball, and I love getting my friends and family open. So.
We saw it earlier today when there was the kind of spat of technicals there, but we've also seen it earlier in the season. Your teammates stepping up for you. Can you talk about what that means? You're the captain, but your team really rallies around you.
Man, we're a family. You watch out for your family. You take care of each other. Physicality is a part of basketball, but we're going to continue to compete to the very end, whether it's the start of the game or the beginning of the end of the game. So.
Excellent. Well, good luck in the third quarter, Nick. Thank you.
Much.
All right, that is Nick Hornsby, the new CEBL all-time rebounds leader. We are going to step out for just a minute. We'll be right back after this.
What keeps me going? Under the heat of the sun, or in the heat of the moment, when climbing for even 1 more second seems like too much. Whether you're reaching for your goal or busy setting new ones, everyone hits their limit, but that limit has a reset. Scientifically formulated to hydrate faster in the moments that matter. Electrolyte, instant hydration.
Score! Big savings on parking at YEG. Use promo code STINGERS to save 20% on airport parking with Jet Set Parking. Affordable parking just minutes from the terminal. Book online at jetsetparking.com/YEG and use code STINGERS to save. Level up your game. Jet Set Parking has partnered with Edmonton International Airport for their new loyalty program, YEG Plus. Jet Set Parking and YEG Plus, a winning way to start your vacation.
What keeps me going? Under the heat of the sun or in the heat of the moment. When climbing for even one more second seems like too much. Whether you're reaching for your goal or busy setting new ones, everyone hits their limit, but that limit has a reset.
The EXPO Centre in Edmonton, in the city of champions, and it's over. Baker wins it.
Jordan Baker, head coach, Edmonton, Alberta. Yeah, I mean, this league is never meant for a destination league. You know, a lot of players are using the CEBL as a springboard into other opportunities, whether it's exposure-wise or financially. So, you know, we can't take things personally when players move on to other places. I think we just want to try to do what's best for our organization and our fans, and we try to bring in players that are excited about the opportunity. We have a lot of new players to the CEBL this year, which is fun. A little bit of a learning curve, but obviously, you know, we want to get guys up to speed as soon as possible and have them enjoy their time in Edmonton this summer. It's just the opportunity to represent Edmonton on the national stage. You know, our guys, we try to make sure that they understand you know, the fan base and the community that's behind them and supporting them and buying the tickets so that their salaries can get paid. They need to be respected and honored, and I think being able to have a lot of control of that, both on and off the floor, has been something that's really rewarding for me as an Edmonton native. So yeah, I love being able to sort of be a part of the community and spearhead a lot of basketball initiatives in our city. Yeah, I think the office piece starts with just having a really good team. You know, our front office crew has done a great job this year stepping up, and we've had some changes in the front office, but you know, our core group is together and making sure that we're standing for the right things. In terms of the on-the-court stuff, that's the fun part. So, you know, I have a great coaching staff as well that makes it exciting, and you know, that long off season, all the work and hours to get ready for May is, you know, it's long, but it's the exciting time now that the fans are back in the building. You know, we try to have high standards here in Edmonton about the type of people that we bring into the organization and what we stand for. So in terms of what I'm proud of, I think it's just trying to represent Edmonton and represent our community and, you know, my family and our organization the right ways through everything that we do, both on the court and off. There's a lot more opportunity, certainly. You know, when you think about club.
At halftime from the Edmonton EXPO Centre, it's the Edmonton Stingers leading the Calgary Surge 50-35. Doug McLean along with Sarah Ryan and Mark Majot. And Mark, I mean, a game that I think the Stingers will be pretty happy with how they've arrived where they are right now with a 15-point lead. It's a bit of adversity in stretches there, but they found ways to maintain a pretty healthy lead. But now they've got to find a way to build on it heading into the second half, and that's been a challenge for them at stretches this year.
Yeah, if we told Coach Jordan Baker this morning his team would be up by 15 points at halftime, I think he'd be rather pleased with that. It's been a little bit tricky about how we got there. They scored 31 points in the first quarter and only 19 in that second quarter. Second quarter is a bit of a slog, 21 fouls called, combined going both ways. However, at the end of the day, the box score just shows that you're up by 15 points, and if you're the Stingers, just want to continue to maintain on that and not fall back into kind of some of these old habits we've seen this team do at times.
The Calgary Surge, again, they good pushback by them at the end of the first quarter. We saw that mix of technicals at the end of the first, and they never seem to find a lot of rhythm in that second quarter. But this is a team that can score. They've proven that here in this good run over the last 7 games. This is a team that can score. So can they find ways in the second half to exploit maybe some of where Edmonton has been challenged at times defensively?
Yeah, they got their turnovers under control better in that second quarter with only 4 as they had 8 back in the first. So they've been able to hold on to the ball a little bit more, but looking at their field goal percentage, it's 40%. That's got to be a lot better for Calgary. And from 3, they're just 1 for 11 for 9.1%. It's got to be better than that, simply put. So if you're the Surge, obviously you don't want to come out and just attempt a bunch of 3-pointers right in the way, but that percentage is definitely going to have to improve if you want to get themselves back into this game.
Now let's take a look at some of those numbers from the opening 20 minutes of play, and certainly what stands out to me. You look at those numbers on the right, the top 2 on the right for the Stingers, and the top 2 on the left for the Surge.
Yeah.
In today's game, you're not winning a lot of games shooting 9% from the 3-point line.
No, and even, listen, I know modern basketball has changed quite a bit, but even those free throw percentage numbers, you'd like those to, I know you and I are kind of old school guys, but you know, 59, we'll call it 58% and 66%, that's not good enough for either team. So I think both coaches, when they look at the box score in the locker room, there's certainly room for improvement. There's good things that obviously both teams did, but I think there's lots of room for improvement going both ways.
For a Stingers team that has struggled at times to get to the free throw line, and yes, we had 21 fouls in that second quarter. For them, seeing 19 in that opening half is a good sign, meaning they're getting to the rim, they're taking the ball to the basket.
They're being aggressive, they're trying to get any opportunity that they have. And I imagine it might be a little better flowing heading into the third quarter, but who knows? There's still a lot of animosity on this floor. And hey, and I mentioned earlier, no matter what the sport time of year, Edmonton versus Calgary, there's just something in the air when these two cities meet up.
We will step out one more time. 50-35, the Stingers up on the Surge at the half. You're watching CEBL basketball live on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL Plus.
The CDIC was established by the Government of Canada to protect deposits in case of bank failure. Coverage is free and automatic when you bank with a member institution.
Whoa, thanks.
That's my job.
Protecting your deposits, that's what we do.
All right, sticks in the middle.
Can I join you guys? All right, let's go.
Whether it's on the ice or on our app, always play for the fun of the game. Gamble responsibly with Play Alberta.
RedTag.ca.
The CDIC was established by the Government of Canada to protect deposits in case of bank failure. Coverage is free and automatic when you bank with a member institution.
Whoa. Thank you. That's my job. So you were saying...
Protecting your deposits, that's what we do.
We want to thank you for not betting with Play Now.
Because we couldn't afford things like this without your money.
So much of your money.
Now you might have questions like,
do our profits benefit your community?
No.
Or bet with Play Now, Manitoba's local legal and secure gambling site.
At Cal Tire, we're here to drive the best value around with free rotations, price match, 0% financing, and free flat repairs. We take care of it all for the life of your tires. Chat with our team at caltire.com.
Welcome back inside the Edmonton EXPO Centre, where the Edmonton Stingers have a 15-point edge on the Calgary Surge as we head in to halftime. And Sarah is just about set up here. She's got Calgary Surge head coach Dave DeViro.
That's right. Coach, earlier this game, you called a timeout, talked to your team, said, I want to see more physicality. Have they responded the way you wanted?
Some of it. I mean, in a game of this magnitude, if you have to call a timeout to tell your team to be more physical, that's a concern. So we didn't come out ready to play again. And so we got down early, and now we're fighting to get out of this hole. And they're playing really well. They're playing physical. They're doing a lot of great things out there. So we need to be a little bit better to start the third quarter here.
Your team has really turned it around this season. It started out rough. Talk to me about what changed to allow you to be here fighting for a playoff spot today.
What changed? You know, I got a chance to spend a little bit more time with the team in practice. We got a chance to practice. And it's a league where you don't get a lot of time to practice, so things are on the fly. When we had a couple of days of practice, we kind of got an idea of what I wanted on both ends of the floor, and our guys have responded. We've been playing well. This is not an indication of how we can play.
Obviously tonight, it's critical that your team wins if you want to be in the postseason. Do you feel like you're feeling that in the locker room? Your players are feeling that weight?
I think our players knew coming in with what this game was all about. Came out and they came at us really hard. They took away some of the things that we like to do, and we didn't get to our counters, and so we struggled. We turned it over, and they got some easy buckets. And it's an older group. It's an experienced group. Our young guys are in this situation, some of them for the first time. So, the first half is your learning opportunity. Now you got to come out and play in the second half.
All right, well, let's hope they do that. Coach, good luck.
Thank you.
Back to you. Doug, Mark?
Thanks, Sarah and Coach DeViro. Mark, let's take a look back at your players to watch. And first up, Manuel Bandemel in that opening 20 minutes of play.
Yeah, Bandemel leading the way with 10 points. That's a game high, actually, for both teams. He has 10 points. I thought he shot the ball very well. He's distributed the ball very well. One steal on defense. I think he's been made a positive impact on both sides of the floor for the Stingers in playing 17 minutes. He was out there. He leads both teams with time on the floor. So I imagine he's maybe feeling it a little bit in the second half, but I imagine Coach Jordan Baker's still going to continue to ride him with big minutes here as we are a minute away from the third quarter.
And now Sincere Carey, the player you're going to keep an eye on here for the Calgary Surge.
Carey, so far tonight, he has 7 points for the Surge, and similar to Bandel, I think he's done a really good job of getting his teammates involved. He has 4 assists, and I thought Carey had a really strong game Friday night when these two teams met just down the road in Calgary. One thing that jumps out to me for Carey is talk about all the fouls that we saw in this first half. He's drawn 5 of those by himself. I think that's some really aggressive takes to the rim. And we'll talk a little bit about bench points coming up in a little bit, but I think he's been a really strong piece coming off the bench for this Calgary team.
Now let's take a look at our red tag path to the playoffs update. Here's how the standings shape up, and certainly it's still wide open in the East. Scarborough's run away with things in the East. We've talked about that throughout the season, but in the West, it's tight. Stingers and Surge. Saskatoon has clinched their playoff spot. Again, Edmonton wins today, they are in. If Calgary wins by more than a point, then all bets are off, and Calgary would hold the tie break by virtue of having outscored Edmonton in the 4 games that they've played. So that's something to watch for here in the second half. But it has been very interesting down the stretch. And Calgary, in that run of 6 of 7 wins, have knocked off Vancouver twice and Winnipeg twice. So they haven't exactly been beating up on some of the weaker teams in the league. They've been beating up on 2 of the best. Miller Moore with the miss initially as we're back underway here in the third quarter. Vandemel. Step back, jump shot will go for Emmanuel Vandemel.
That's a perfect start if you're the Stingers. Similarly how they started the first quarter.
Corner three, Kamba short on that one. Hornsby looking up. Back his way into Kamba. Backdoor fine. Lindsay could not control it. Surge try to get the floor. The Stingers get numbers back. Marlon Johnson on the top of the arc. That three will not go. Vandemel will bring it up for Edmonton. Pulls up for three. Doesn't go. Rebound to the hands of Brown. Cheney loses it. And we get a foul call here on Kendrick Ray.
Bit of a late foul there too, but a foul nonetheless.
To talk about a lot, I mean, how many fouls there were in that first half, just to reset some of the foul numbers. Tay Donald, Emmanuel Vandemel, 3 apiece for Edmonton. Abdul Muhammad has 4 for the Stingers. David Joplin's got 4 for Calgary. Caleb Swanton-Roger with 3, and then Addy Patterson out of the game. He was ejected for a headbutt on Nick Hornsby. Miller Moore to the top. Johnson swings it to Kamba. Off balance, trying to find an angle with that right hand, couldn't do it. And a nice leave, couple leaves there. Maybe getting a little bit too cute was Nick Hornsby. Cheney has a shot blocked by Kendrick Ray. Good help defense by the Stingers newcomer.
Timed perfectly to swat that out of bounds and to not take a foul. And Doug, I wanted to also mention too, this is the 4th matchup between these two teams. The second half of the 4th matchup, there's really no secrets out there anymore, right? I think both teams are very familiar with one another. I think that play, despite being one of the newest members, it's like he knew exactly where that ball was going and read it perfectly.
Miller Moore spins inside. Finds Johnson, who gets fouled going up, and Marlon Johnson Jr. will earn himself a couple shots at the line. This Western Conference game is presented by Cal Tire. Marlon Johnson hits the first. In his years as a Stinger, 12.8 points a game, 6.4 rebounds a game. Did spend 2024 with the Surge, also 2023 with Vancouver, and then back in 2019, originally with the then Saskatchewan Rattlers, and they won a CEBL title in the inaugural year. That look for Isaac Jack. Stingers right now, you feel a little bit they're getting into that almost finite detail. They're getting a little cute. Maybe an easier way to say it.
Absolutely. It wouldn't shock me if we see a timeout here called by the Stingers. Coach Baker not afraid to call those timeouts, but he's going to let his team the ball up the floor, leading by 13.
No box out there at all, and that was an issue for the Stingers at times on Friday. Just easy looks for Calgary on second chance opportunities. Lindsay finds Vandemel for 3. That one well contested by Cheney. Defensive rebound for Calgary, and here's Miller Moore.
You want to salivate at a 3-point shot here, but if you're Calgary, I think you're looking just to get any single point on the ground.
Ball goes out of bounds. It will remain Calgary basketball. Donald and King will check in for Edmonton. Ray and Jack will come out. Cheney to inbound for the Surge. Tay Donald limited minutes in that opening half with those 3 fouls, just 6.5 minutes. He's got 4 points on 2 of 2 from the field. Cheney, long 3 goes. Armani Cheney, 40% 3-point shooter, and it is now quickly down to a 10-point lead.
Once was 20.
Trey King will draw the foul, and Dave DeViro just picked up a technical.
Both coaches have been pretty vocal all game long. I thought the officials have done a good job at giving them their space. But with 6:47 to go in the third, looked like enough was enough. Nick Hornsby going to shoot the free throws.
Well, and again, I mean, we've seen already here in this third quarter similar fouls called at both ends. So, I can understand the frustration, but it has been relatively even, I think, in terms of the nature of the calls, let alone the volume of them.
Do you also think that's him maybe trying to motivate his team just to touch? I thought his comment to Sarah was quite interesting, how everyone knows what's at stake and I still have to call a timeout to tell them to play physical. So I wonder if that's just him maybe, you know, can't hold on to that ace up your sleeve for the rest of the game.
No, it's a good point for sure. As King misses the first. Trey King 2 of 4 from the line so far here this afternoon. Knocks it down, and now here is Cheney. Crossover to his left. Gets it back from Miller Moore on the curl. Cheney knocks down the triple as those two finding a little bit of chemistry together.
Armani Cheney heating up with 2 massive three-point shots. Now just a 9-point lead for Edmonton.
Donald to King. Zips it in to Hornsby. Double team. Vandermill goes baseline. Hornsby tried to draw the foul there on Brown. Nothing doing, and Cheney up the floor. Has it stripped away by Nick Hornsby. No whistle. Finds Donald. Layup. And there was no call as Donald got his... I didn't catch the Calgary player. Came right across his arm. And there was no whistle at all that I heard, even with the ball going out of bounds. But looks like we are going to get a foul call. That will be an unsportsmanlike foul on Marlon Johnson. And DeViro is a technical on DeViro. Now the first one was on the bench. We'll see. Okay. And then the ball thrown. That's going to be another one. And Calgary just losing it here a little bit right now.
You can see there just before Coach DeViro got that technical, Ruggsy Miller Moore trying to say, "Coach, no, Coach, no."
And then it was Marlon Johnson Jr. who threw the ball at the scorer's table.
So that is another one. So we've got the one on DeViro, the one on Johnson.
And Doug, if you're Calgary, you're down by 9.
Yeah,
you have clawed yourself back into this game.
I don't get this at all. And even, I mean, from our vantage point, that was a clear foul on Tay Donald. There's no question about that. And I'm not sure about you two, but I didn't hear a whistle. And so then I'm not sure if that's maybe what frustrated Calgary, is that there was no whistle called. Okay, so Sarah, you did. I missed the whistle, so that's glad someone heard it, because I did not.
It's easy. It's easy to miss a whistle in this crowd, yes. Doug, because you know what? While we have a break here, let's talk about that. It is packed here at the Expo Centre. They're telling me, the Stingers are telling me, this is the second best attendance they've had in 2 seasons, 3,700 fans.
Good crowd here today during K-Days here on the Edmonton exhibition lands. Okay, so we'll run through this one. We've got the technical foul on DeViro. So just to clarify, the technical foul that was moments ago was on the bench, not on DeViro specifically, so he remains in the game. So let's clear that up. Then there's a technical on Marlon Johnson Jr. as that ball was thrown towards the scorer's table. He has been ejected from the game. So the second ejection for the Surge today is Addy Patterson out earlier. An unsportsmanlike foul for not playing the basketball on the Tay Donald layup. So we're going to shoot the 2 technicals, then the unsportsmanlike, and then it will remain Edmonton basketball. So that is the combination of everything that happened here moments ago.
And I just want to kind of go back to the point we just made. I understand Calgary's frustrated, but they've clawed themselves back into this game. And everyone knows what's at stake. And very curious to see, like, cooler heads prevailed after the skirmish into the first quarter, right? Despite all the fouls, this wasn't, I wouldn't say it's been a chippy game. It's been a grabby game. It's necessarily been a dirty game out there.
No, and I think to your point too, I mean, for Calgary having chipped back, gotten the lead under double digits against a fragile Edmonton team. Let's be honest about it. This is a team in Edmonton that had a big lead against Saskatoon the other day, could not get a bucket late in target score time to win it. And there's a double dribble on Bandamel. Anyway, Calgary now in a position to try to settle themselves back in because they have certainly pushed back here in this third quarter.
And down 2 players. We'll have to watch David Joplin staying in the game with on the bench with 4 fouls.
Cheney on the floor working against Bandamel. And foul behind the play. This is going to go on Tay Donald, and that will be his 4th. So Donald will take a seat. Abdul Muhammad will come back into the game. He also with 4 fouls.
Both coaches looking down at their bench. Still a lot of basketball to be played, right? We have about 10 minutes of actual game time plus target time.
Calgary down 2 key players in Johnson and Patterson. Johnson plays about 16 minutes a game. Patterson, we mentioned earlier, just under 23. Jump shot short. Ray with the board, pushes it up the floor. Kendrick Ray right to the rim. Nice block. Nope, they're going to get a goaltend on Miller Moore. It was close. It was definitely close. Great hustle, though, in transition by Rugsy Miller Moore to even get a play on that basketball.
I absolutely love that rule, though. How if you can play it if it's off the rim. Like, I love it. Dude, that's always in the back of players' minds, but that was as close as you're going to get.
Kendrick Ray picks up the foul, and that's going to be his 3rd.
I think we're seeing real great leadership by Rugsy Miller Moore right now. You know, he could have got very upset about that. He is trying to reset his team's tone right now.
That's a great point, I think, just to put it behind and get back up the floor offensively. And he does exactly that, knocks down the free throw line jumper.
Sarah has the opposite of the broadcasters. She
Yeah,
says
that's
something
right.
to the player does
And then they do it, exactly. That's good. I do not. And we're going to hold, I think, here on Cheney.
And then more technical fouls called, and I think that's going to be it for Nick, if that is a technical. So Armani Cheney, that's his first tech, and that's number 2 for Hornsby, so his afternoon is done.
So that is a huge loss for the Stingers, as we are just under 5 minutes to go in what has been an entertaining, if not always for the right reasons, basketball game here in Edmonton. 60-47, the Stingers up on the Surge. You're watching CEBL Basketball live on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL Plus.
Score! Big savings on parking at YEG. Use promo code STINGERS to save 20% on airport parking with Jet Set Parking. Affordable parking just minutes from the terminal. Book online at jetsetparking.com/YEG and use code STINGERS to save. Level up your game. Jet Set Parking has partnered with Edmonton International Airport for their new loyalty program, YEG Plus. Jet Set Parking at YEG Plus, a winning way to start your vacation.
inside the Edmonton EXPO Centre to 60-47. The Stingers up on the Surge. 4:57 to go here in the third quarter. Doug McLean along with Mark Peugeot and Sarah Ryan. And Sarah, you're back in listening to the Surge timeout.
I was, and I imagine the same thing was said on the Stingers bench, is their whole team's in foul trouble, which is true on both sides. So drive, push, get in the paint.
Edmonton, your summer plans just got serious. Join us for multiple special edition theme nights throughout the season. Purchase today at thestingers.ca/tickets or by scanning the QR code you see on your screen. 2 more games to go for the Stingers here at the Expo Centre next Friday and next Sunday. King fadeaway does not go. Quickly up the floor is Cheney. Crossover around Bandamel. Layup won't go. Nice play there by Ray just to open up that rebound to Muhammad. Bandamel finds Lindsay. Scotty Lindsay knocks down a 3, and the Stingers are going to have to find some offense with their key catalyst, Nick Hornsby, ejected.
You almost just felt an exhale come from the fans behind us when that three-pointer hit. That was a big shot for the Stingers.
Miller Moore holds that pivot foot barely, and then lays it in with the right hand. Actually, Miller Moore starting to come on. He's got 10. Ray will step back, guarded by Cheney. Finds King, pull up, jumper goes for Trey King.
2 really nice possessions there by the Stingers coming out of that timeout, extending their lead. Led by 20, was chiseled all the way down to 9.
King's got 9 for Edmonton. Miller Moore up against Muhammad with those 4 fouls, so exactly what Sarah was talking about. Go downhill, take him to the rim and see what they do defensively. Bandamel. Miller Moore on him. 10 on the shot clock. Bandamel loses it, gets it back. Loses it again, but they're going to get a foul call on Cheney.
Cheney, one of the few players on the floor with that who is not in dire foul trouble.
That will be his 4th though, because he had the technical.
I forgot,
yeah, so that is his 4th. So Sincere Carey into the game. Adeladoon also in for Calgary. Bandamel misses the first. Makes the second. Something else to watch for the Stingers, bench points. In 7 of their 8 wins, they have been over 40 points off their bench, and all 13 of their losses, there's another 3 knocked down by the Surge. All 13 of the Stingers' losses, they have been under 40 points off their bench.
I've always found that to be the strength of the Stinger team, Doug, as Coach Baker is always getting players involved early and often. But have a way to go if they want to get to that benchmark, just 3 minutes to go in the third.
Bench points right now 22-21 in favor of Calgary, and Scotty Lindsay starting to heat up for Edmonton. Miller Moore right at Muhammad, and if that goes on him, he will be out of the game, and it is. So that is it for Abdul Muhammad, as he will pick up his 5th. And now Boursier will check back into the game. And we mentioned earlier, Boursier's minutes have been managed here over the course last month, 6 weeks. He may be pushed into some significant minutes here over the next 12 plus minutes of this ball game. Your seat is waiting for you to catch every single game live from the Winsport Event Center in Calgary. Get your tickets at calgarysurge.ca/tickets or by scanning the QR code on your screen.
So now both teams down 2 players due to fouling out and 2 technical fouls.
Just mentioned the Surge with 1 more home game just to close the loop on that. They'll play against Niagara next Friday at Winsport. Ray, nice find to King. King thought he was going to go upstairs with it. Ball ends up out of bounds.
Doug, I know playoffs are right around the corner, but can you believe we're near the end of the regular season already? This summer is absolutely flown by.
We say that every year, don't we?
It's true. And there's still a lot to play for both teams, too. So that's very exciting down the stretch here in Canada's Pro Basketball League.
Kamba off the mark on the triple. Ray up the floor, guarded by Kamba. Vandemel 3. Outside rim and out. Here's Miller Moore. 13-point Edmonton lead.
I'll repeat what I said at the end of the half. If Calgary can get this lead to single digits heading into the fourth, that's going to be massive for the Surge. Despite all the men down, all that good stuff, this could be huge if they can get this to single digits. And if you're Edmonton, you're trying to stretch it as much as you can.
It will remain Edmonton balls. They were able to bank it off of Calgary, and it bounced out of bounds before hitting Vandemel. Edmonton's largest lead was 20, sits at 13. It was 15 at the half. Ball zipped in, and Ray bringing it up. Over 20 minutes already for Kendrick Ray tonight. Jack for Ray. Pull up jumper. Does not go. Isaac Jack does a nice job to get inside position. Get a hand on that loose ball, and that foul is going to go on David Joplin. That is his 5th. So the 5th player to be out of the game so far here today. Now Isaac Jack at the line, 1 of 2 so far tonight.
Doug, Mark, you mentioned someone having to step up when Nick Hornsby is gone, and Scotty Lindsay has not missed a 3 tonight. And when he is on with his 3s, he is very on.
He's perfect. 3 of 3 so far here today. Stingers continue to shoot well, 52% from the field and 52% as well from the 3-point line. Carey. Zips it down to Swanton Roger. Nice little turnaround as he got a little bit of space from the other 7-footer on the floor, Isaac Jack.
If you're Calgary, you'll take that. You're not running out of time just yet, but you got to continue to chip away at this deficit.
Vandemel. Good help over there by Swanton Roger. Vandemel, nice jumper. Swanton Roger couldn't close quite quickly enough. Miller Moore slowed up by Boursier. Deladune to his left. Tries to dump it down. Swanton Roger right at his feet. Timeout coming from Calgary. Boursier finds Ray. From the swing spot. Knocks down the 3. Timeout, Dave DeViro. The lead now up to 18 for the Edmonton Stingers.
Absolutely huge bucket there for Edmonton. 18-point advantage with 33.4 to go. Calgary is holding on despite being down 3 men and down by 18 points, but that mountain's getting harder to climb with every single possession for the Surge.
And the nice thing for Edmonton right now from an offensive standpoint is they're getting those open looks by working through their offense. There's 1-2 paint touches before the ball's coming back out to their shooters, and we've seen at times this season where this team struggles because they just start settling for 3s for tough jump shots and not taking things through their offense. And you're getting looks here as to how they're starting to get their shots.
Yeah, the Stingers, they're better when they're playing Stinger basketball. Sometimes other teams can kind of rope-a-dope them into playing their game, but when Edmonton is at their best, they're playing their game. The ball is getting moved around beautifully on the floor, and we've seen a few examples of that tonight. They are taking advantage, obviously, of this 18-point lead, but they can get away with a lot of those things because they're not having to force some of these awkward shot opportunities.
Turnovers are now another number to watch. 16 committed by Edmonton, 14 by Calgary, but points from turnovers, 23 for the Stingers to just 12 for Calgary, and that has been a challenge too. If you look at points from turnovers earlier in the season, and we'll get to that in a second. Sarah, you're just listening into the Calgary timeout.
It's the first time I've walked over to that bench and seen a lot of dejected faces. They are, struggling. But Rugby Miller-Moore, again, we talked about his leadership. Him saying, exhaust the tank, do it all. This is it. Play now because there's nothing else to play for after this. If they lose tonight, Calgary will not make the postseason.
Still lots of time for Calgary, and again, a team that has scored well here in the last 5 to 10 games. Miller-Moore loses it, gets it back. It's a bit of a tough shot, but gets it up and over a couple Stinger arms. Now Edmonton can hold for the last possession. Gray, pull up, breathe, that one falls for Kendrick Gray. And that is where things will end, a 19-point lead heading to the fourth quarter. The Stingers trying to lock their spot in the CEBL postseason. We'll be back with fourth quarter action from here at the Edmonton EXPO Centre. You're watching CEBL basketball live on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL Plus.
You don't just fuel your body, you fuel your drive. We're not here to preach hustle. We're here for the ones who show up. You know who you are. The moms who make mornings feel like magic. The runners lacing up before the scroll. The dreamers writing it down before it's real. And we're here for you. Real fruit, real fuel. Booster Juice. Fuel for what's next.
Did you know that every CEBL game ends on a game-winning bucket? Yep, every single one. That's because we use something called target score ending, a thrilling twist that keeps fans locked in till the final shot. So what is the target score ending? Here's how it works. The first time the clock stops with 4 minutes or less left in the fourth quarter, the game clock is turned off. We enter target score time. We take the leading team's score, add 9 points, and that becomes the target score. Let's say it's 91 to 80. That means the first team to hit 100 wins. No ticking clock, no intentional fouls, just pure clutch basketball. It's fast, it's electric, and it guarantees that every game ends with a bang. Experience the target score ending this CEBL season.
One quarter to go here from the Edmonton EXPO Centre, just north of downtown Edmonton, 79-60. The Edmonton Stingers right now up on the Calgary Surge. Doug McLean, Sarah Ryan, Mark Michaud with the call here from Edmonton. Stingers continue to shoot the ball well, 56% right now from the field. Surge 43%, Edmonton 58% from the three-point line. And that'll get hurt a little bit there by the miss from Kendrick Gray. Rebounds 26-19 in favor of Edmonton. And there's the bump and the finish. Nice cut to the rim for Swanton Roger.
This Calgary team not giving up, just looked, Arms kind of looked at his bench saying, okay guys, let's go. About 5 minutes before we get into target time, but you want to condense that lead obviously as much as you want. And pregame we heard Jordan Baker tell Sarah the goal is to keep the Surge to under 90 points, and so far so good, but still a lot of ball to be played.
All 6 of these Surge wins in those last 7 games, they have held the opposition under the 88 points or under. In fact, the most points given up in one of those wins was 88 by Edmonton on Friday night in Calgary. Lindsay, guarded by Carey. Pull-up jumper, a little bit short. Miller-Moore collects it for Calgary. Deladune finds Arms. Dumped it inside. Swanton Rogers guarded by McCoy. Now here's Boursier up the floor. Boursier finds Lindsay. Little runner well short. Arms with the ball. Carey. Split Split between two Stinger defenders to the corner at Deladoon. Won't go. McCoy with the rebound. Leading scorer for the Stingers, Emmanuel Bandamel, he's got 15. Rugsy Miller-Moore leads all scorers with 16. Stingers come out cold here in the fourth. Carey, guarded by Ray, turnaround, shot short. No rebound there at all for the Surge.
Not a black jersey within 6 feet of the ball. That's something you can't really have with your season on the line.
And a great play by Swanton Roger to deflect that one away on the layup by McCoy. And that's going to be a push off by Caleb Swanton Roger. First team foul for the Surge here in the fourth as Trey King will check in for Ray. As we thought, Mason Boursier forced to play some slightly bigger minutes. King bounces it down to McCoy, who gets underneath Swanton Roger. That's a veteran play. Create the contact and then convert the finish. Arms. Carey guarded by Boursier. Screen coming. Carey to his left. Kicks it out. Arms, three. Soft touch, puts that one home. Boursier running things from the point. The elbow. Trey King, jumper good. Left open momentarily. Deladoon couldn't get over to help out.
I think it's obvious both teams are in foul trouble because there's usually about 1.5 or 2 feet between every single defender and player right now. Everyone wants to stay in this game as both benches are quite short with 7 minutes remaining.
And foul. I mentioned you saw our cruise to the game earlier. Presented by Cal Tire. We'll have Trey King's significant impacts on this game. Numbers may not reflect that, but early in that first half, he had a couple big steals, led some points the other way. A 16-point Edmonton lead.
Rugsy Miller-Moore at the line. He is now just one steal away from 100 in his CEBL career. He picked up one today. That is a big milestone for him.
Boursier with Carey on him, turns it over, but Bandamel gets his hands on it. Finds King, who tried to gather and go up, goes out of bounds. Miller-Moore goes right at McCoy, and he loses it.
I think everyone's a little bit puzzled by that foul call. 2 quick ones on McCoy. And fans letting it know that they disagree.
Get a really good look at it here. Bit of a reach. Now, I don't know if he did reach with the right arm. I think that's what the officials saw. I'm not sure if there was contact on the arm. I think that's what precipitated the call. Here's Arms. Now picked up by Bandamel, tries to split between 2 defenders. Boursier collects the loose ball, finds Scotty Lindsay, pull up for 3. Thought he had it. And the line was good, just a little strong. Now Carey. Deladoon, good hard take to the right hand, lays it in. It's a 13-point Edmonton lead. It was 19 heading into the fourth. Calgary chipping away at it. Donald with 4 fouls. spins. Donald off balance, gets a tough look off. Gets helped up. Good sportsmanship there by Miller Moore. I'm not even sure that he was the one with the contact. It's actually Kamba who picks up his third foul.
Even though that shot didn't drop, the amount of concentration and strength it takes to weave through those defenders and just lob anything within 2 feet of the basket is remarkably impressive. These are big free throws here.
Tay Donald rolls the first one home. 68% free throw shooter on the year. Foul on the ground. Main Edmonton basketball. That one will go on Carey. And a timeout called by Jordan Baker. 5:51 to go here in the fourth quarter.
Slower pace in the fourth. So I think both teams are aware of the foul troubles going both ways. Edmonton playing with a bit of a smaller bench here. Interesting to see who remains on the floor with 5:51 remaining.
It's the final home game for the Surge this Friday, as we talked about, as they will welcome Khalil Ahmad and the Niagara River Lions to the Winsport Event Center for an interconference matchup. Tip-off from the Stampede City at 7:30 Mountain, 9:30 Eastern. And for the Stingers, they will continue their season-ending 3-game homestand when they welcome Tavian Dunn-Martin and the Saskatoon Mamba here at the Expo Centre. Catch the action also on Friday, 7 p.m. Mountain, 9 p.m. Eastern from here at the Edmonton EXPO Centre. Mark Majot will be in this seat doing play-by-play with Dave Drabuk and Sarah Ryan. I mentioned before the points from turnovers right now for Edmonton, 25 on the 17 turnovers committed by Calgary. And in the losses Edmonton have had, they've been giving up 1.3 points per turnover, but only scoring it less than 1 point per turnover themselves. So you're giving up almost a third of a point more every time you give the ball up. So a much better night that way for Edmonton. In the wins for Edmonton, they've been giving up 1 point per turnover and themselves at about 1.1. So better numbers tonight for Edmonton, capitalizing on those Calgary mistakes.
A really nice play off that inbound.
Off-balance finish, as Mark mentioned, from King. Carey Deladoon in the corner, knocks down the three. Deladoon 28% from the three-point line on the year.
The numbers still aren't what you want from three if you're the Surge. However, they've shot it a lot better in the second half than they did in the first.
Deladoon 2 of 3. Nice bounce pass to Scotty Lindsay and the soft finish with the right hand.
And at this stage of the game, Doug, I think if you're Edmonton, you're still okay to trade 3 because the lead is large enough.
Arms goes back to Miller Moore, guarded by Bandamel. Miller Moore backs him in. Shot won't go as he tried to go underneath the rim. And Edmonton will push it back up. Here's Donald to his left. King to Lindsay. 3 is good. Scotty Lindsay having himself a big night for long range. He is 4 of 5 in the lead, back up to 18.
And when they needed him most too, right? They're down a couple vets. Nick Hornsby fouled out, and calm, cool, and collected Scotty Lindsay has ice running through his veins. And that's a big three-point shot to put the lead back up to 18 points again for the home side.
And that was a pretty good close by Deladoon. He got out there. I mean, the extra pass from King over, but Lindsay, you can tell. I mean, even the one he missed. You and I had a great right in our vantage point here, and that was bang on line, just a little bit strong.
Yeah, if he shoots that 10 times, it goes in 9 probably. So he is certainly feeling it tonight. As I mentioned, the Stingers certainly been needing it. This doesn't, it's strange to say that, this doesn't feel like an 18-point game. It feels like it's a lot closer than the score would indicate. However, kudos to Edmonton. I think any time that Calgary's gotten close, gone on a bit of a run, that they've been able to extend their lead yet again. They've been able to consistently do that all night long.
And again, it's been one of those games where you're, from a coaching standpoint, you got players ejected here and there. You having to make adjustments to what your typical rotations would be. So how's that impacted these two teams so far tonight?
I think it's been a lot because obviously both teams, I'm sure, had a game plan coming into this. Calgary knew the stakes that they had coming into tonight, but we're just showing that this is still pro basketball at the end of the day, right? It's your best 5 guys against my best 5 guys. And right now, it just seems like Edmonton's been able to hit that extra shot and a half that the Surge have not been able to hit.
That, gentlemen, is a tale of 2 different benches. The Stingers feel that playoff berth in their hands. They are excited.
Still lots of time, 18-point edge for Edmonton. First stoppage at 4 minutes will be target score time set. Arms quickly up the floor. Here's Carey. 3 off the mark. Rebound, Lindsay. Finds Ray. Bounce pass to Boursier. Vandemelt finds Lindsay. Extra pass, Ray. 3 does not go. Rebound to Deladue. Foul. Vandemelt fouls. Maybe not the guy you wanted to foul. I mean, you want to foul because you want the timeout to get target score time set, but that's the 4th on Emmanuel Vandemelt. So we will step out and come back with target score time. Stingers trying to clinch a playoff berth. You're watching CEBL Basketball live on CBC Gem YouTube and CEBL Plus.
Let's bring it on. It's game time. It's showtime. Oh, and it goes. Nick Hornsby. Here's Oakland for the win.
You gotta love a Canadian boost.
2 hands. Oh, what a block from behind.
Next bucket wins. Target score time is the best time of a game. The energy, the drama.
And anything can happen. Oh, my goodness! Can you believe this guy?
Big players step up in big times.
He is cooking.
To the Edmonton EXPO Centre. I'm Doug McLean, joined alongside Mark Peugeot and Sarah Ryan. It'll be an even century mark. First to 100 will win this ball game, and if you're the Stingers, that means a playoff spot. If you're the Surge, it means you're alive for another day.
Thought you summed it up perfectly, Doug. Both teams know what's at stake.
And we get underway at Deladune. Hot from long range. That's his 3rd to get things started in target score time. You got a big lead if you're the Stingers, but you don't want to sit back just sort of waiting. You want to continue to attack.
Yeah, you don't want to give these quick possessions here. You want to take your time, go through all your options.
King, shot clock winding down. He's got to get it off. He does. Rebound in the hands of Carey. Pushes it up the floor. Arms can't find it. Then hurdles the fans. And luckily where he was, there were no fans. There were 2 empty seats. And he managed to hurdle over it. Looks to be okay.
Impressive.
Good hustle there by Milwaukee native Adonis Arms.
If you're Calgary, though, you didn't need to rush that possession. You had time to get up the floor slow. You didn't need to lob, a 3rd and 10 pass. Edmonton just returns the favor and gives it right back to Calgary with a similar play.
Lindsay cuts baseline and King airmails that one. I'll try to settle things down with Sincere Carey. Left hand soft touch off the glass and in.
I know it's small, but this is not what you want if you're Edmonton to start this target score time period.
Donald. Lob inside to Jack. He's got the smaller Kamba on him. Gives it up, Donald. Stutter step. Works his way, finds Lindsay. Miller Moore flies by. Scotty Lindsay a little bit strong off the back iron. Gets his rebound. Tay Donald will slow things up. 10 on the shot clock. Donald. That three doesn't go. Rebound to Deladoon. Stingers starting to get into that mode of settling for jump shots. Arms. Misses the left hand with the left hand. Here is Tay Donald. Bandamel. Forced out nearly to half. Quick crossover. Inside. Nearly turned over. King gathers it. Bandamel, 5 on the shot clock. Stingers got to put up another one here. Again, not a great possession from Edmonton. Credit to Calgary for their play defensively. And a foul will go on Isaac Jack, and that will put Edmonton in the penalty. And will put Calgary on the line. Ray will check in for Jack.
Smaller lineup on the floor for the Stingers right now, and again, this is not what you want for the Stingers. They're still obviously ahead by 13. Carey's good at 2 here.
Carey makes or misses the first, I should say, at the line. He is now 4 of 6. Surge overall 75% of the free throw line tonight. Edmonton 21 of 32, 65%. Carey makes the second. Bandamel will bring it up for Edmonton. Stingers need a good possession. Bandamel into the paint, has the ball stripped. Miller Moore finds Carey. Steps back. Send out Kamba for 3. That one a little strong. And Adonis Arms. And that will be an offensive foul on Kendrick Ray, who just stood his ground. And Adonis Arms is in a lot of pain on the floor, grabbing his left wrist.
Yeah, he went down, and they're going to motion for the athletic therapist right away. He's flexing it, but he went down in a heap right away. That was a high impact collision. Just trying to figure out where he is on the floor.
Kendrick Ray goes over to check on him. Ray, I mean, that's a tough. If you're Kendrick Ray, we'll get a look at it here. You're just kind of standing, trying to draw the charge. And Ray does just that, and then yeah, you see it just sort of kind of go down awkwardly. So just the first foul on Arms. And Edmonton have not found any kind of rhythm offensively here so far in target score time. And a foul on Deladoon.
Edmonton yet to score during this period. Played just under 3 minutes. There you go.
6-1 now in target score time in favor of Calgary. And this is the interesting thing mentally about target score time, is that you gotta just focus on the target score. You can't worry about, they've outscored us 6-0. But it's hard not to think about that and the rhythm and the momentum that comes from a team that's gotten off to a nice 6-0 start.
Basketball, unlike any other sport, is just about a game of runs, right? And this period kind of eliminates that. But at the back of your head, you've been thinking that way for 3.5 quarters, and then it certainly changes. So yeah, it's certainly the mental aspect of target score time is still something I think we're still trying to figure out.
there's a foul and the right call on Scotty Lindsay for the wraparound on Cheney. And really somewhat unnecessary there too for Lindsay. Had a bit of a step on him.
He did.
Just the first foul on Scotty Lindsay. So those two arms and Lindsay decide to hold off on the foul party until target score time. Here is Carey. Step back, 3. A little bit strong. Cheney with the rebound and a foul underneath. And quickly that is going to be 2 on Scotty Lindsay. That will send Camba to the line.
So this is a way for Calgary to again stay involved in this. It's the race to 100.
Matthew Camba. So far tonight has not been the line. So I mentioned the 40-point bench point magic number. That's 7 of the 8 wins. They're at the Stingers at 33 right now. So this would, if they can hold on, would be potentially only their 2nd win of the season. And every one of their losses, they have been under 40 bench points. So
unless the 7 points come from the bench.
Tay Donald, who started this game, will head to the line. "63 fouls so far called in this game. But I think we all were kind of commenting, it's kind of been a game like that. Like, I'm not sure how this game could have almost, forget the ejections and the technicals, I'm almost not sure how the way this game even started, how it could not have ended up like this.
Absolutely.
Very chippy, grabby kind of game that I think at some point the officials were going to try to say, look, we've given you some rope, but that's enough.
But to that point, though, I also think, and I wonder if you'd agree, I don't think it's been a dirty game.
No.
Yeah,
and good point.
Yeah.
I don't want to imply that at all, but just one of those games where you're just trying to get an edge. You're grabbing a jersey here, you're grabbing an arm, you're a little bit of a hold here and there. And look, that happens in every game. But to me, in the first quarter, we saw more of that than I think we might typically. Stingers 5 points away from a victory and a playoff spot. Cheney, 3 is good. And the lead is cut to 9. But the magic number is the Surge need 14, the Stingers need 5. But credit Calgary, they've chipped away here in target score time. Here's Ray. Turns it over momentarily, but gets it back. Good hustle there by King. 7 on the shot clock. Deladoon guarding Ray. Has to get something off. Turn around, jumper does not go. Rebound, Carey. Poked away into the hands of Deladoon. Again knocks down another 3. He is 4 of 5, and it is all Calgary in target score time right now.
Calgary just 11 points away from that century mark. Edmonton is 5, but it certainly feels like the floor is tilted in Calgary's favor right now. We played 4:19 in target score time, and Calgary has been the better team.
They have outscored Edmonton 16-4 so far here in target score time.
There is a small but mighty contingent of Surge fans here behind us. They are loud, they are on their feet, they are pumped right now.
And hey, target score has been a challenge for the Stingers. It was an issue earlier last week against Saskatoon, where the Mamba had a huge run late in target score time to ultimately come away with a 2-point victory. And you could see it almost from the first possession in target score time. When you have that big lead, you start to play a little differently. And Edmonton's got to find a way to go back to what we saw in the third quarter, which is paint touches, getting good looks from the floor of their offense. And that has gone away here so far in target score.
And it wasn't just last week. I go back to week 1 for the Stinger team, right? Way back in May, they ran into this problem as well. So, listen, there's still a long way to go, but I think if you're Calgary, you got to be pretty good. You were down by 20 at one point. You're down 3 players. Your bench is as thin as it's been all season, and you still find yourself, you're, a stop and a start you're a stop and a score away from this being a one-possession game.
Of course, Nick Hornsby out of the game, picking up 2 technical fouls. Tatum guarded by Adeladu. 10 on the shot clock. Draws a foul and knocks down the shot. Hey, Donald.
And the Stingers have been waiting for something like that throughout this entire period. Waiting for just kind of a break to go their way, and Tay Donald has been explosive all night long.
Gets Carey up in the air, creates some contact, and then knocks down the off-balance shot. Carey picks up his 2nd foul. And they're going to talk this over. Kamba poked it out. And that's the right play. So I'm going to say it was off the rim. So
great heads-up play there by the Surge.
Smart by Kamba to get something on it, deflected away. Here is Carey, guarded by Boursier. Now Bandamel picks him up. Deladoon off balance, a little bit long. Oh, good play by King, just deflected around Miller Moore. Lindsay, Ray, 3, goes! And the Stingers are going to the playoffs. A valiant effort in target score time by the Calgary Surge. But the Edmonton Stingers and its newcomer, Kendrick Ray, with the triple to send them to the CEBL postseason.
Well, welcome to the Stingers. Kendrick Ray with a hand right in his face. Hits the biggest shot of his young CEBL career. And it got a little hairy at times there for the Stingers, but look at that. In the corner of the floor, makes no mistake, and that's the biggest shot of the season thus far for Edmonton. And they punch their ticket to the postseason with 2 games to go.
Saying just Kendrick Ray again. It's been a chippy game, but good sportsmanship. Ray checking in. We saw Miller Moore helping up one of the Stingers earlier. So, yeah, for the Stingers, they've never missed the postseason in the CEBL. So for them, they're heading back to the playoffs, and in street clothes, Nick Hornsby joins in the celebration. And Matthew Kamba having a chat with his former Stinger teammate. And hey, for the Calgary Surge, I mean, I know the playoffs are not in their future with this result here tonight, but I mean, hey, huge credit to them for this late season push, and a huge credit to them for making this game what it was here in target score time.
Doug, I don't know what their off season's going to look like, but there's obviously going to be some returning players next year. And I think if you're Calgary, message heading into, obviously you want to finish out the season on a positive note, but you could say, listen, a couple of shots go here, then hey, maybe if we don't start 1-13, maybe our odds are a little bit better. So I think the future's great for this Calgary team.
And let's now go to Sarah, who's joined by our player of the game, presented by Booster Juice. It's Kendrick Ray.
That's right, I am here with Kendrick. Kendrick, welcome to Edmonton, your 2nd game with the Stingers. How does it feel? Target time winner.
It feels great. You know, I started off a little slow today, trying to find my rhythm, but my teammates and my coaches, they told me to keep shooting, being myself, and my shot started to fall.
You were joining this team a little late in the season, but the Stingers have now punched their ticket to the playoffs. How does that feel for you?
I mean, that was the goal for me coming here, you know, get to the playoffs. Now we have four days in between rest. We got to rest, get into the gym and work, and then go from there.
We know that the Stingers have now clinched the playoffs, but there are still a couple of games left that could play a big impact in who the Stingers will face in those playoffs. What's next for the team?
You know, just get back into the gym and work hard, and then take it from there, 1 game at a time.
All right, thank you so much. Congratulations, Kendrick. Back to you, Doug.
Thanks, Sarah. And Kendrick, we're going to step out The Stingers with a 100-89 victory. They're headed to the postseason. We'll be back to wrap things up. You're watching CEBL basketball live on CBC Gem, YouTube, and CEBL Plus.
At Cal Tire, we're here to drive the best value around. With free rotations, price match, 0% financing, and free flat repairs. We take care of it all for the life of your tires. Chat with our team at caltire.com.
The CEBL, Canada's Pro Basketball League, and redtag.ca brings Canadian basketball fans a chance to save up to $300 off on vacation bookings all season long with promo code CEBLFans. I wonder how our mascots would spend their time on vacation. Book today with Red Tag and save $300.
Redtag.ca.
Welcome back to the Edmonton EXPO Centre. It was an entertaining basketball game in all manners of that word as the Stingers come away with a 100-89 victory and punch their ticket into the CEBL playoffs. All that information, an opponent, date, time to be determined, but for the Stingers, wasn't pretty to start target score time. Credit to Calgary, but they found a way, and I'm sure they're breathing a little bit easier now, knowing that they've got their spot in the playoffs all wrapped up.
Yeah, they don't ask you how, they ask you how many. And at the start of the season, if we told Jordan Baker's team would clinch their spot in the postseason at home in front of one of the largest crowds they've had in the franchise existence, I think he'd be pretty pleased. It was a bit of a roller coaster, as you alluded to, all game long. It was a physical game, but I think it's important to distinguish that it was not a dirty game. It was just a very physical game. Going both sides. There were stretches in which Calgary was getting every call. There were stretches in which Edmonton was getting every call. However, when it mattered, when their backs were, I don't know if it's fair to say their backs were against the wall, but the space was shrinking, and when they needed a big shot, Kendrick Gray stepped up and hit the biggest shot of the season so far for the Stingers.
And a really balanced performance offensively. I mean, they're led by Scotty Lindsay, had a really good night shooting the basketball, 4 of 6 from the three-point line, 17 from Bandamel. Calgary, Rugsy Miller-Moore with 18 to lead the way for them. Both teams shoot fairly well. Edmonton 49% for the game, Calgary 45. And there's the shot from Kendrick Gray to wrap things up. CEBL action returns on Tuesday with the final game from the Verdun Auditorium as the Alliance look to continue their playoff push when they welcome Tevin Brown and the Vancouver Bandits to town. Tip-off at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. And you can catch all the action on CEBL Plus, CBC Gem, and YouTube. 100-89, the Stingers come away with a victory. They are off to the postseason. They'll be back Friday night and then Sunday night to wrap up their season. On behalf of Mark Majot, Sarah Ryan, and our wonderful crew, thanks for tuning in today. Stingers, 100-89 victory over Calgary. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Knock 'em out the mud, knock 'em out the run, knock 'em out the world with your pet top time for some action.